say hi. I said, because if it doesn't work.
We're live.
Oh,
All right. Do you want me to turn the camera so we can see where you're sitting nice?
no. Thank you. I'm good. That's why we were trying to pick a chair up without the camera. We weren't sure if you were going to be filming tonight. Yeah, I didn't know. She said she was going to try, and I thought, well.
You never know. It works, but sometimes it just buffers and buffers and buffers because the internet doesn't pick it up. So, and sometimes it'll just quit. Like last week or last month, it just quit right in the middle. So I did started it again at part one.
From the back over towards Burgess. But the back fields with the highway basically from there to the lake, right by the end of our subdivision, right next to it. It's every night you see. We gave permission for officially dispatch. Then about 2 years into that, we overrun the rabbits.
Yeah, I did.
They were doing some good. Much as the way to hear them still have to take down at night. Hear them calling into the kid. Once or twice it was in between us and the neighbors.
It's kind of a very good agenda.
Oh, I was just across the street, I know it. Yeah, and I was starting, but I ate some peanut butter crackers, so here I am.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Mark. We had, yesterday, across the street, but we had 52 minutes. Well, I mean, kind of wondered, like, how many they have in that building? Oh, they just have like, okay.
Oh, I got it. Oh, Chris. No, I thought Chris was, she came in and she thought, they're gonna demo. They're gonna remove the
How did you get a
meter.
How did you get that check? How did you get a good check? No, I said, how did you get the good check?
Oh, I just drank it. This morning was really funny, but I started going with the dog like I always do. And she stopped, just that she kind of tried to come on. So I finally said, fine, where do you want to go? And she took me the opposite way, down to in between and across the street, she got her trail, and back around.
I just want to know if it was going to be live.
Okay then. She did. She didn't want to go by the same route. That's far. I'm serious. That office, yeah. No, I usually throw some pizza on. Sometimes he throws it down.
Do you want an agenda?
Okay, it is 6 o'clock. We will call the meeting to order for the special meeting of September 25th, 2025.
Please join me in the pledge for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Sue? Here.
Trudy? Here. Lori? Here. Laura here. John is on the forum. Thank you. Any board member conflict of interest statement? No? No? Public comment on agenda items? No? Okay. Public comment period closed. Approval of meeting agenda.
I move to approve the meeting agenda. I'll support.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of previous meeting minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the previous minutes.
Second,
I can support that.
very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Bills.
Okay, the invoice register here shows there is a total of 21 bills to pay in the amount of $68,102.32.
So it's that time of the year where taxes, summer taxes that we collect to go to the school or the county, there is a small admin fee that we get to keep, and the school paid us a little over $9,000 to collect 50/50 for summer. But we don't get our big influx of money until December. So we went to the other departments that are in our pool account, which is library, DDA, police, and asked them if it was okay so we could still pay all of our bills, if we could borrow money from them to pay them, and we would pay them back by the next board meeting. And I have that admin fee coming in. We've got some sewer money that needs to get back into pool, so we'll have the money. We just gotta get a couple things switched around, and so I just want everybody to know that we needed to do that, so.
I just have a question though. I think money needs to be transferred in the pool, which are from the sewer.
Yes.
Some of the different accounts. I don't know, where the money hasn't been transferred, whether it's the debt payment or whatever that comes directly out.
And I have all that written down, all that stuff that needs to be done with those journal entries to get made, so it's moved around.
Okay. Okay, so you know all of it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And the clerk's been given it, so she can do the entries?
I think it was put in her mailbox, but if not, I will put
Okay.
it in her mailbox after this meeting.
Sorry. Thank you.
That's all right, yeah.
Okay, so, any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Perfect. Support?
I'll support that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Old business? None. New business, the reason we're all here. Change order for the wastewater treatment plant. I think, Sue, help me out here. Do we want to motion to discuss, or should we let Performance Engineering, who joins us tonight, thank you, kind of go over everything? What do you think would make most sense to everyone? Steve, Aaron, what do you think?
I'd be happy to kind of give an overview.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, please. You just have to push the button there.
Okay. Aaron Nordman, Performance Engineers. So what we're having presented to the board tonight is a change order for a blower room addition to the wastewater treatment plant. And the background for all of this stuff is the existing plant had 2 blowers in it. And with plant expansion, we needed to put a dirt blower in there. So when we started the design process on all of this, we had dimensional information and stuff from the supplier of the blowers, the sales person that we're in contact with in that phase. Gave us cut sheets, gave us information for that. We laid it in there. They said, no, these things come out the end. You can roll the motor out, service them, they go stack, stack, stack. So we said, okay, great. It's tight, but it fit. Well, then it turned out that the existing blowers that were in there did not meet NEC code for clearance from the electrical panels. And then there was also clearance issues, blower to blower, needing equipment to be able to lift them out, to have a hoist on it, and service them. So all this stuff we spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out, could we reconfigure the room in any possible way to make these three fit in there? And we're short by inches. We just could not make it work. So if we're doing all this at the front, in the design phase, we would have proposed the building addition as part of the project. Unfortunately, it played out the way it did, so we need to add this as a change to the contract. And fortunately, the project is tracked, very well within budget. And so we have plenty of contingency money within there for the project to be able to pay for this addition. So that's what we're asking for tonight, is approval of the change order to allow the contractor to move forward with a building permit and construction on that blower room addition. Then we can get that third blower installed, the plant can be fully functional, and we have a completion date proposed for all this by January 30th, is that right, Steve? Yeah.
I thought that was kind of set in stone, that Grant Travers said that they would guarantee, that this was gonna be kind of like a guarantee, that this
Yes.
would be done by January, end of January.
Yes, that is the completion date in there.
Okay,
They've indicated they'll be done ahead of that.
okay, good, okay.
We have to put a date in.
I know,
Contract.
I know, I know, but he said that it would not go beyond that, so.
Yes, I believe they're ready to walk the permits in and get the ball rolling as soon as we get approved.
The new half of the plant is running.
Yeah.
It's just Eagle won't let fill both sides and run both sides until the third blower, which is the standard, the extra blower, is actually installed.
So should there be another phase? Is the 3 blowers gonna be sufficient?
Well, that is the one nice thing about having the addition room here now, is if you do have to put a bigger blower in there, you have space.
Okay, we're making it big enough, okay.
Yeah, just one.
Do you want to walk through just the size of the room? I mean, in case anybody's curious about that, it's more than just a bump out, so to speak.
Yeah, so
We
we're
brought the
going,
drawings out for people to look at as well.
yeah, so we're going basically 11 feet off the edge of the building, which would be the eave side of it, and then about 15 feet in depth. So when you walk into the room, there'll be plenty of room to service the blower. And the existing double door into the current blower room, the doors would be removed, so that would just be an opening into the rest of the space.
Any other questions? We'll have to have Eagle come back, or have them come? Or
I don't believe Eagle
they don't
has,
have to do that. We have to have Aeromod come back.
Aeromod will come back for
Right.
the warranty startup on the
Right.
floor.
Right, okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, just looking at. So you'll cut a hole and it looks like there'll be the original wall, the additional one, and there'll be a hole cut through that for the new addition.
We'll take the door out.
Take the door out.
Yeah, there's
Sorry,
existing-
you said the door.
Double, so it's a 6-foot opening.
Okay.
And
What
all
is
the
this?
aesthetics would match the existing building, painted black, same roof.
What are we gonna have left in our contingency once we pay this out?
Right now, there's 476,000, almost 476 and some change in there. There's actually 2 other items on this change order, not as big as this part of the change order. So this total change order is for 203.
So any other questions on the lower room part of the change order? No. Do you want to go ahead and talk about the other items on the change order? Or should we just read on?
However you want to handle it.
Go ahead. I think it's better coming from you.
Okay.
Okay.
So the other one is the tops.
No, it's the extra platform steps
Oh,
around the tank access points, and then also expanding the driveway and the turn areas for the
Right.
for the semi-tanker trucks that come in for the sludge removal.
And that's only, we had them come this spring to change over the sewage from the old to the new, but typically that's once a year when they clean out the sediment. But yeah, okay. So there's 3 items on the change order. Safety stair landings and catwalks, additional access driveway and turn area, and then the biggest item, which is the building addition for blower number 3, and I did not read off these amounts, let me put my glasses on. So the safety stair landings and catwalks, the total there is $8,669.59, to add 9 access locations, walkways over the tanks. Add additional access driveway and turning areas to accommodate the tanker trucks. $22,742.42, and that's just gravel. That's not pavement, correct? That's gravel. Yep. Thank you.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah. And there was some there, but yeah, it's a lot of gravel. And then building addition for blower number 3. Again, Aaron explained to us why that's necessary and how it came to be and the dimensions of that. And the building addition on that total is $171,906.90 for a total of this change order for $203,318.91 coming from the contingency, which currently has a balance of $476,870.38. So, and we do have a drop dead date on that blower room addition of 1/30/2026. And they do stand ready to get started on that. Any other questions on items 1 or 2? In the change order? Okay. So do we have a motion? May we have a motion to approve the change order, please?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. And do we have support? Thanks, Aaron. Do we have support for that? Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Public comments?
I don't have a comment, but I have a question.
Sure.
Does that mean that the plant won't be able to run until after January 30th?
Do you want to answer that, Steve?
Well, the plant is running, so the new half of the plant has gone through startup to their MI, and it's all running, it's been seeded with water in it right now. The issue is a permitting issue, so until you have a redundancy of the 3rd blower, if one of the 2 were to fail, you would only have half the blower capacity. So
The answer is yes, they're not going to get hookups and use of the new seeder users until after the period.
or if they're done earlier, or there's some,
I thought because the state park was gonna be shut down, they could accept.
Yes.
Sorry.
this kind of evolved where we were gonna allow the hookups because of the low flow during the winter. But the concern was if the blower wasn't gonna get installed until spring or something, there wasn't a high confidence that it would absolutely be done before the flows pick back up. With the January 30th date, we feel that it's assured that everything will be done well ahead of the flows peaking again next year. So
How many people do you think are going to be hooked up on January 30th or February 28th?
I think they would hook up now, basically. You know, now that this is approved to move forward, I think they will go ahead and move.
How do you test your system? It's hooked up if your system isn't working.
Well, it is working. It is working. So we have 2 plants. The old, the sewage has been moved to the new. The new is working. And there is capacity because the park's coming on. So think of it as the cup is half full now because it's been drawn down. So we can take, help me out, I think Tammy said we could take up to 100 people depending on the size of the homes. For our smaller, I don't want to say smaller homes, for residences that have smaller families in them, 1 or 2 people, 3 people, their contribution to the sewer system will be less, so we can take more. Tammy has an actual gallons per day that we can accept out there. It shouldn't be an issue. The issue was when is spring coming? That was the issue with the blower room, if we waited until spring. Nobody knows when spring is coming. We know what happened this year. We had hoped for maybe a May 1st, but with the idea of this past April in our minds, if it went to June or beyond, the park ramps up, we're all back at full strength. What we did not want to happen was to say, let's take 100 users, seasonal or not, low-end users, meaning they don't contribute a lot, get them hooked up and say, but June 15th, wait a minute, you can't use your shower. We didn't want that. So we're pushing to get the plant ready to accept. We can accept some now, so if some people are ready to hook up, give us a call. We can work with them on that. We've been in contact with Matt's with regard to people who have already made down payments, that he said he would honor those contracts. And I will, of course, defer to him on that, but that was a conversation we had yesterday. And we're all anxious to get people on timely. So I know some of you in your neighborhood have patiently waited for this. So I think we can start.
Because I was concerned about 9 minutes.
Yeah.
I was concerned about that. I know they plan to put a special crew together this fall, and they hoped to work sooner, but the last I heard was from mid-October till whatever, but nobody wants to work in January, February, March.
Right. And what we've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what the contractor has said is, even out there with block work, they're not as worried about that type of work in November and December. It is that January, February, when we start getting those really deep cold temperatures. That, they can still work in the ground, and I will go ahead and speak out of turn for Matt's and say that may hold true for them as well. So again, if you're ready to rock and roll, or anyone out your way is ready to go, give us a call. We'll talk to Tammy. She's back in town, and to Jen, and say, okay, how do we want to do this? So that we can start getting people on at least. And I'm gonna have to defer to Steve and Aaron and the gentleman in Sheboygan for the inspection part of it. I don't know how many they can do a day. I don't know how long it takes.
We'll work through that.
Yeah.
The bottom line, we wasn't comfortable hooking people up if we couldn't guarantee that the blower would be ready to go too close to spring. We have to have both plants going to have them in the spring, but we need to have other people not. By getting this going now, they're gonna be comfortable letting people hook up.
I got another question.
No, you guys don't.
I thought someone told me that if you close your house down for the winter, let's say you never start your system up, you have to crush your tank, so you're hooked up. If your neighbors are doing that too, what does that do for the system? In other words, if 3/4 of the neighborhood's not here, and they're hooked up, and there's some affluent going through the pipe, but not a lot, what does that do to your hookup? Because there's that length of pipe, or I guess I'm not a battery, so it's not that pipe will empty all the time. But and the rest of the system, because then pumps won't work. If there's not a lot of people using it, pumps won't work there.
Yeah, so the low flow, that lift station might only run a couple times a week.
So if I happen to be here year round, except Tammy says, no, you want me to run my shower lots.
No.
So
Just
that's not a concern. That you would get up, hooked up, but you didn't use your system you shut your system down or?
You want to keep things going, so remember one thing, there's no such thing as a flushable light.
Yes, there's no
No
such
matter
thing
what
as
the
a
patent says,
flushable
there's
light.
No such thing as a flushable light. That'll make your system much healthier.
Yeah. Well, at some meeting, somebody asked the question, from my home, when I flush, what's the anticipated delivery time out at the plant? I do not know the answer to that. It's not immediate, of course, but to your point, you know, the different stations, everything is working. It's all been tested, yeah. What's not working is that connection at the plant. And what's not working is the blower, and the blower's not installed because the room's not done. It's the whole. So once we get that moving, it's going to move rapidly. And even before that, we have excess capacity right now because it's fall. Like we would have before we ever did that. Okay, again, the expansion out there with the tank and everything else is to accommodate once we get both phases fully operational. And that's the goal in, 18 months time-ish. God willing, the creek don't, right?
Well, that's the telephone number, so if it doesn't work.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And they pick up quite promptly, I found, so that's good, yes. Yeah. No, very, very responsive, and we've all worked really hard. They have really worked very hard, with a lot of input from people and lots of listening, and I'm rather excited to get something, as we like to say in the office, full circle. It'll be nice, so please be our guinea pig. We'll get you a shirt.
I'll be in contact with you at the office, right?
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
The contingency fund that you were referring to, is that for phase, the old phase, new phase, and phase to be 1, 2, and what's running?
Right.
Is that for all of them?
476,000 is the phase 2 contingency right now, so that's gonna go down like 200,000.
So that's for phase 2.
That's phase 2. Phase 1 currently has 168,000 in contingency. And we're getting close to closing out the 2 phase 1 contractors. And the way it's looking on the books, that's actually gonna go up.
Can you move your hand, because I can't hear you?
I'm sorry, the phase 1 contingency is right at 168,000 right now. Matt's is gonna come in well under.
So where does that money go? Does that go into phase 2 then? Or what do you do with that?
That's, you wanna explain?
I mean, I'm concerned that you just said it comes from phase 2. What happens if we have a ton of problems in phase 2 and we don't have contingency money because we're using it for the plant? But that wasn't part of contingency money for the plant, was it?
Things are tracking that we shouldn't have huge problems on phase 2. Things are
Well,
looking.
woulda, shoulda, coulda, too.
Well,
On phase 1, we're actually, by the time we close out the 2 phase 1 contractors,
Yeah,
the contingency that started out at 2 something is gonna be above that, so. And I did the estimating for both phases. And so.
okay, so where, does that money go anywhere, or do you get it back, or where's it go?
Different in the 2 phases. So the plant has both phase 1 and phase 2 associated with it.
Uh-huh.
And phase 1, part of contingency in phase 1 has been allocated to refund money back to the township for out-of-pocket things they did before the funding. So some piece of phase 1 can go back to the township. Phase 2 cannot go back to, you have to spend that money or it's just don't use it. It's federal money. Your assessments have already been sent out, including all of that. So it's a use it or lose it situation on the contingencies. So the goal is to actually spend it, but spend it wisely and spend it if you do have things. Part of the funding package includes like wish list things that will help Tammy or will help mitigate future expenses for the township. So the goal is to bring the construction in as well in budget as we can, and then use that money to offset either future costs or prepare the township with extra things they want to mitigate future expenses through R&I or rates or these types of things. So that's the goal for the whole.
Put some things on the shelf.
Yeah.
And the USDA engineer for the state of Michigan was here yesterday for substantial completion inspections on the 3 contracts we have right now. And he's very pleased with how well these projects have gone. The 40 projects he's overseeing right now, I think we're his easiest one. We've called him once. The project's going well. We've only spent like $98,000 out of the phase 2 contingency.
Yeah.
On a $4 million project, that's nothing.
It's amazing. I mean, this is going as well as you could imagine.
I mean, the only time you hear from us is when we're talking about stuff like this, but, you know.
Well, I hear you a lot say, it's only another 8,000, it's all, when I come to the other meetings, and I get really frustrated when you say it's only, because to me, 8,000 is a lot of money, and it's like.
Out of a $4 million project, it's not.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, I'm just,
Just
you have to go with scale.
I just think it's gotta be worded a little bit differently than it's only, it's $8,000 is, you know.
I fully get that, but you have to go on what the scale is, and our projects are running really well, and the USDA engineers, he's the one that rides herd on us, and if we're screwing up, and the projects are screwing up, he'd be all over us, and
He sees these change orders too, and he's aware of the funding.
he has to sign off on it.
And so he knows there's a lot of checks and balances along the way.
Well, I don't know all this, so, I
No,
mean,
that's
I'm
what we're
just-
happy
That's
about.
why we're here, and we're being as transparent as we
I
can.
mean, yeah, I come to all the meetings, but I've never heard somebody checks you off.
Right.
You know, that,
Well,
it sounds like these guys say, yep, you're good, and I don't know that it's going back farther and farther, that,
Oh,
you know, you're being checked on, and we're not just
well,
getting.
and one of the things that Andy, who's the USDA state engineer, reminded us yesterday, and many of us had not been through a USDA closing, so we were all learning. And it was a very open forum, very informative, very interesting. A lot of information was exchanged that some of us did not know. But one of the things that he reminded us, and reminded me in particular, was that the state's with us for 40 years. You know, they loaned us this money.
USDA.
Or, excuse me, USDA is with us for 40 years. They're going to be looking over our shoulder to do right by the users, the end users, who are you in the district for 40 years, as well as our operators, whoever they may be. Right now, we're fortunate to have Mead and Hunt, one of the best, in my opinion. So there is oversight long after, and that was a concern I had, was that long after the project is finished, all of our people that we've had here for years will be gone off onto another project. And what happens then? And he assured us all, they're with us. We have his phone number. He's responsive.
With this federal money, the paperwork is incredible.
Oh, I'm sure it
And
is, I'm not denying that.
I have to
just-
document
Like I
everything.
said, I just get really frustrated when you're up there saying it's only, and if I add up all your onlys, it's a
But
lot of
it's
money.
and I said the same thing, Beth. And I was corrected in that it is a $15-16 million project, the whole entire 1, 2, and
It
the
was,
treatment
it was
plant.
14 and some change. I
Yes.
think, right, so.
And I was squawking about the cost of the building. Because like you, most of us, we have a budget at home.
Well,
Yeah.
we should have a budget here.
We do have a budget here, which is why we squawk. And my concern is, he said, you have to take it at scale. And we also have to remember that we have 400-ish people coming on. So when we say it's only $8,000, yes, that's a lot of money. For a $14 million project, just get,
But every time you hear it, it's,
I didn't bring my calculator. From now on, I'll run the percentages. It's like 0.00.
I I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I get really frustrated when,
Well, how would you like us to say it that is more, that is
just
helpful to you?
leave
to
the word
understand?
only out, because it's not only, that's,
Mhm.
to me, and I'm sure it's not just me, to other people.
Mhm.
If we added up every time we said it's only, it's a lot of money.
Mhm.
You know, and I get it, you have the contingency, but not everybody understands all this. And I have been coming to a lot of meetings, and I've been trying to be, you know, knowledge, or get knowledge about this, but when he says only, I just wanna go off. It's like, come on,
Your point's well taken, Beth, and I'll try not to say that.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments, concerns? No? Okay. Board comments?
I'm just glad that we had this meeting today to get this going, instead of waiting till spring.
Well, and thank you for coming back. You were here. Vicki?
Yeah, I do have one question. Max came out, and so I was basically told that probably I would get a estimate. So, but he said they're kind of waiting for a timeline. So has that somewhat been established? Can I be pretty sure he's probably gonna get back to me. It was very nice, by the way.
Yes.
And very informative, and I felt really good about the whole thing. But I'm just wondering, has that timeline now been established enough for them to go forward?
We need to triple check with Tammy that she's comfortable.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, that's basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I wanna be first or second or
No,
eighth.
no.
I'm just saying, I just wanna
Well,
estimate.
Yeah.
I just wanna kinda know what I'm looking at.
And I'll partner with performance here that yes, we've been in constant communication with our operators along the way, and
And so I was told.
yes,
So
and
that
so
was-
we
that was
will
communicated.
double check. And, yesterday at the closing, we had Isaac from Matt's, and we had Jeff from Elmer's, and Paul and Irv from GTC, and Aaron and Steve were here, as well as Andy. And everyone is in a holding, we're circling the airport right now for this meeting, which is why we hustled around and did this, and these two graciously came back to help explain this. So when we can get the green light from Tammy, then we can fully green light the operators.
Okay.
So,
I need you to sign this tonight, because with the government shutdown, it's
Yes.
gonna happen next week.
Oh,
I'm sending this to the USDA engineer tomorrow morning. He could be guaranteeing me he's working tomorrow. There's a lot of times-
Bird dog.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's gonna get this through tomorrow, so that we can make sure
Yeah.
we don't hit that window that's probably gonna close next week.
yeah, so we've been hustling. There's been no lack of hustle burning up the road here between Charlevoix here and the plant in here, and it's been a huge learning curve and really fascinating. Who would have thought? Yeah, so any other questions, any other board comments? Please call us, come on in, we'll try to help walk you through it. I know you've waited a long time, we have too. We're excited to bring something full circle. And we'll wait. I'm a winter lover, but I'm willing to wait, to hope for a light winter and an early spring.
And no ice.
You know what, yeah, there you go. How about no tornadoes? Look at that too, right? Right. Okay, motion to adjourn, yes. And meeting adjourned 6:35.
Okay.